Americans will be waking up this morning with their final chance to cast a vote on who will be the next US president. More than 78 million ballots have already been cast, which is believed to be more than half of the expected total votes. Both Trump and Harris were campaigning into the night.
It's ours to lose.
I've been waiting 4 years for this. And so have you. And so have you.
Down to this. One more day, just one more day in the most consequential election of our lifetime, and the momentum is on our side. Our campaign has tapped into the ambitions and the aspirations and the dreams of the American people. We are optimistic and we are excited about what we can do together. And we know it is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
The experts are saying it still feels too close to call and that it's going to be all about the key swing states. Now, yesterday we talked about how the system works. Let me just recap on that, and then we can talk about those 7 swing states. Okay, so just to remind you here with the map of the result last time, how the system works. This is the result last time, red for Republican, which was Trump, and blue for Democrat. And if you look at the states, California, Texas, you see Montana, they have a number next to them, and that is called the Electoral College vote. So the way it works is that if you win the state, you take all the numbers. And if you add all the numbers together in all the states, you get to 538. And that means you need, this is the famous phrase, 270 to win. And actually, what's interesting about this 270 to win, you could say certain states, North Dakota, South Dakota, for example, or Arkansas, we sort of know they're going red. We know New York will go blue, New England, California nearly always go Democrat, and that's not going to be in doubt. So you can actually colour in the whole map with what you expect to get a sense of where the unknowns are. And the unknowns are these 7 states here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So what we're going to do today is focus on the 7. I've used these beautiful old-fashioned American postcards: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada. The 3 at the top here, post-industrial, a lot of old industry. We can call them the Rust Belt. Let's circle them here. So Wisconsin is there. Michigan, interesting shape here, is there and also just up above Wisconsin as well. And Pennsylvania, absolutely crucial. Those 3, let's call them the Rust Belt. Down the south, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada. Circle them. Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia as well. And we'll call those the Sun Belt. Why not? Because it's easy to remember. I haven't forgotten North Carolina, okay? I haven't forgotten it. So let us now say, let's just, as we're working out how this election works, it's all in the balance, let's give Trump the Rust Belt and give Kamala Harris the Sun Belt. And you remember yesterday we said it's 270 to win. And if we add up all the states we think we know or we're expecting, Kamala 226, Donald 219. Democrats in blue, remember. Okay. So what would this do if this is the way it breaks down tonight? Well, we need to look at these electoral college votes. Wisconsin has 10, 15 for Michigan, 19 for Pennsylvania. So you add those together for Trump, you add those to his total. We'll see that in just a moment. Let's go to the Sun Belt now. Nevada has 6, Arizona has 11, and Georgia has 16. So we put those together for Kamala Harris. We're just doing a bit of guesswork here to see how the system works. So Kamala Harris would add 33 to her total, and Trump would add 44. And now we do the math, as the Americans say. We've already got them on, we're guessing, but 226 to 219. If there are no surprises with the other states, that's the key phrase. If there are no surprises, 44, 33. You add 44 to Trump's 219, you get 263. You add 33 to Kamala's 226, and she's on 259. They're not at 270 yet. And this is why people are saying, oh my goodness, this election. Because you could, if this is what happens, it all goes down to North Carolina. And it's possible you've got 20,000 people in North Carolina who decide who the most powerful person in the world is going to be. North Carolina has 16 electoral college votes. That is how it works. That's why there's this obsession, Nelufar, isn't there, with these states that are impossible to call.
The swing states, the purple states, because they kind of swish both blue and red, are absolutely consequential to this election. Make no mistakes about it. However, I think there's a couple of things. I love the way you do the math. I am a massive fan. I just watch you with my mouth open, just like, oh my God, this is brilliant. I can't believe he did it by himself on that iPad.
Well, it's all guesswork, though.
But the problem is that it's all numerical. It's not running on the sentiment of the nation. The litmus test on this election, look, I've covered these elections for 3 cycles now, and I'm telling you, this feels slightly different, especially because of the way that Americans, what's on the ballot is not just the numerical value of this state has this much and this state has this much. We're talking about a woman's right to choose. We're talking about essentially Trump being called out by General Kelly, one of his right-hand men in his round, has been called a fascist. So the sentiment doesn't agree with your maths. One more thing.
Oh,
the early
really?
vote. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But you want Harris to win. I understand that. I'm not knocking that. But you see it through that prism. And we all have what is called willful blindness. So we see the result. We predict the result we want. And Clinton made that mistake 8 years ago.
800.
Right? So you want Harris to win?
Yes.
Okay.
80 million people have done in America what's called early voting. Now, predominantly the early voting tends to go to the Democrat versus the Republican. Here's the thing. Wisconsin and Georgia, both of them are part of the purple states you mentioned. Unheard of levels that have voted in early voting, shattering records. That's what.
But I read. But you know what? I read a story in the Telegraph last night saying that the early voting was shading towards the Republicans, which was unheard.
Not as of this morning.
What do you think, Tim?
What's going to happen, or who?
Well, tell me who you want first.
I want Donald Trump to win. I didn't want him to win 8 years ago, but I think it's so consequential for the world. I think trouble is looking from Britain. We see, his bad character, and there's lots of bad character in him. But I think we don't understand why necessarily Americans are choosing to overlook some of his sort of dodgy and still vote for him. And I think it's really simple. America has people streaming over the southern border. The Democrats have really done nothing about it. Parents in America feel that their kids could be indoctrinated with transgender ideology. They can't do anything about it. Once, great American cities like Chicago, San Francisco, New York have big crime problems. I could go on. The American people know that Donald Trump is not the sort of person they'd want in a pulpit in their church or whatever. But they think their country is going in the wrong direction, and it's happening under the Democrats. So a lot of them will see what the result is. They're going to vote for him despite his character, not because of his character. And I think we miss that a bit in Britain.
You're talking about a man who has been prosecuted and lost on numerous countless he is now a convicted criminal.
But he's up for
election. The first time that he went for election, he was not a convicted criminal. He did not have the majority of his cabinet or his supporters coming out and saying, don't vote for him.
I appreciate that's why you support Harris. I understand.
No, I'm saying that's why the American people are unlikely to vote for him.
But that's where I might disagree with you.
Yeah.
So you support Harris and you think Harris will win. You support Trump, but you left a little bank about your prediction.
Well, look, what I normally do when I really want something to happen, and I am so obsessed with this election, it's untrue, is I hope I lower my expectations. But this time I actually really do think Trump's going to win.
Really?
I really think he's going to win.
I do not know. I have
none of us really know. But
we don't know. But
I think he will
here's
win.
the thing. I heard a really distinguished commentator on the radio yesterday saying the one thing we know is it's going to be close. I don't think we even know that.
No.
We may find it's one of these ones where the Electoral College vote is quite, sharply to Kamala or Donald.
The question is how has the election been run to today, voting day? You've got Trump on one side who's had his own basket of deplorables moment with that comment about an island full of garbage, speaking about Puerto Ricans.
Not his comment.
He's had it. It's in Madison Square Garden.
Someone made it and he disowned it.
So he's had his own basket of deplorables moment. Most of his allies have come out saying don't vote for him.
No,
he is absolutely on the back foot here. So what my point is, for him to make up ground that I believe he has lost, he would have had to work harder. And the campaign that Harris has run, a 90-day campaign, it's been far more successful. We need to take some calls. I don't know if we could take any before the break. We'll maybe take the break first. We'll. Look, I'll show you what we've got over here. I'll get your votes on our little wall here. And I think I did hear you say you would support, if you were American, you would support Miss Harris. There we are. So she goes there. Trailblazing in many ways, of course, Kamala Harris. Would become the first black woman president. And South Asian.
And Trump, I'm gonna put you there for Donald Trump, Tim, and we'll come back to this. And we want to hear what you think. What do you Who would you choose, okay, to win the US election, which we should know? I was going to say we should know the results of by this time tomorrow. We probably will. Freddie is first in Derby. Freddie, you were from Texas originally, were you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Who would you vote for?
Right now, I'd vote for Kamala Harris. I would normally vote Republican because that's what I voted for all my life. But Donald Trump right now, he sounded like a bit of a moron, saying he wants to eat cats and they'd eat cats and everything.
He
and
wants to.
Eating the dogs.
One of his, they'd eat cats, and some of these other things that he burst out with are just outrageous.
But he's going to, so if you were, because Texas will be almost certainly red on the night, won't it? It's one of those steady states we talked about. So it's a funny one, that, where if you're in Texas and you're voting for Kamala Harris, do you even bother?
Well, yeah, I used to vote Republican all my life, and some of the things, like I said, he's come up with. So I would not vote for him this election.
All right, Freddie, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Camilla. Derek in Northamptonshire, hi.
Good morning, Jeremy and panel.
Go on. Is it Kamala? Is it Donald?
Donald, please.
Right.
Yes.
Donald Trump. Tell us why, because he did say, as our last call, Freddie said, he said, in Springfield, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. He said that.
That's good, Jeremy.
He said that, okay?
A bit of
It's a
entertainment
horrible
for us.
thing. Go on, Derek.
Well, I think, in principle, it's not that different from choosing between two candidates for a job. One candidate who you know has a lot of knowledge, experience, expertise, proven track record.
This one?
And another candidate you don't know very much about.
So I was trying to work out. So Trump has it. There we are. There we are, Nelufar. Trump has experience and a track record.
Derek, she was a public prosecutor. She was a senator. She's a vice president, a more qualified person for the job you have not met.
Okay. Thank you, Derek. Denise in Berkshire, hi.
Hi.
Which way are we going? Are we going Donny or Kamala?
Definitely not Trump. Definitely not Trump.
Okay. She's winning at the moment. So tell us what's put you off Donald Trump. And we do go off air at 11:15.
Because unfortunately, I think politics should be more about, their the policies. It has to be. I mean, it is basically about the policies. But surely, when you have such a despot as Trump come on, and he boasts and he lies, and if he's going to lie before he even gets voted in, he's very possibly going to lie when he gets in.
Okay.
But I think this is setting a really bad example to the American people. He's encouraging. He encourages violence, pretending he isn't, but he is by everything he says. He encourages people to turn on.
All you've done, you've given me loads of negatives about him to explain why you're voting for her. Give me one thing that makes you want to vote for her. She's not him.
Well, because we do know that in any politics, in this country included, it isn't just about the person that is voted in as president or prime minister. They have lots of people in the background. Donald Trump hasn't listened to people. That's why a lot of some of his people that were with him before have.
All right. Denise, thank you. I've got to move on. Got to take more calls. Got loads of people calling. John in Surrey, hi. Which one would you go for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
I'd go for Trump, definitely.
Right. So, gosh, this is interesting. We're tying it at the moment. I don't know. We haven't engineered that. We're just taking the calls as they come in, I hope. So, there we go. Why?
Because he's interested in looking after the American taxpayers.
Okay.
What we could learn from in this country.
Yeah. Well, he's going to cut taxes, but Kamala Harris's lot say he's going to cut taxes on the rich.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them don't mind it over there.
No,
rich.
You're right. Nelufar, why it doesn't? The rich maybe should pay less tax.
Giveaway in American history, the biggest transfer of wealth from normal people over to the rich, to rich people, to stockholders and brokers, was in Donald Trump's tenure. So I really wish that I could convince you that Harris would actually work for working people rather than Trump, who works for his cronies and best mates and gives them a tax break.
I don't think that's right. I used to cover American politics for the Times, and one thing that I was really struck by was the number of Trump supporters who were backing him because he was already wealthy. They look at people like Biden, Nancy Pelosi, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, and they see people who start in politics without much money and somehow end politics with lots of money. And whereas Trump, you see, he can't be bought. That's what people think. They think
take a salary.
He's got enough money that he doesn't need to give in to.
But isn't the thought is if he becomes president, the first thing he will do is get himself pardoned for crimes he has not been convicted of yet.
Yeah, well, that may be true, but on that money issue, that's what really matters to a lot of American people. They see American politics as corrupt. The amount of money that's being spent on this election that these politicians will have to find a way of earning next time. Trump is in a different place.
Hang on, Nelufar. Just let me take another call. John in Surrey, thank you. Sharon in Staffordshire, hello.
Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, panel.
Which one are you going to choose for me?
Oh, definitely Harris. Definitely Harris. Number one, because she's a woman, and number two, because she's a black woman. And Trump is not going to be good for their country and even for the world. He's got ties with Russia, which is a bit worrying, number one. And I think if he gets in, he'll ruin the country. And he's also a criminal. How can a criminal be in charge of a country? I can't understand that.
Could be in jail. Thank you, Sharon. Mike in Perth, what do you think? What do you think of what Sharon just said about Trump?
I believe that Trump should not win, by the way, Jeremy. By the way, I love your show. It's brilliant.
Oh, thanks,
but
Mike. Thank you.
I think that especially abortion law, like, okay, so a young American girl going home and she gets in a taxi and she's raped and she's pregnant to this idiot, she's got to have the baby. I don't understand that. But I think Trump is not the man, and I want her to win. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'm a Scottish guy. I'm going to get a drink tonight because I've got £4,000 bet that he will not win it.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. What are the odds on that?
I'm going to get about £9,000 back.
Wow.
Tell you what, let's get you on tomorrow, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, and I mean, I'm going to say something. I have a friend who was the chairman of British Carls and Airways a long time ago, and he was in Florida. And when Trump came in power, he moved to America right away because he did not like Trump. That's it. And I see now
to America because he didn't like Trump. Okay.
He didn't like Trump.
From
but
America.
I see now the White House are putting gates round the White House.
Yeah.
How the heck were Trump supporters allowed to come into the White House and get in so easily? I don't understand that.
You mean Congress, yeah. Thanks, Mike, very much. We're getting loads of calls on this, so we are going to take a couple more after the break. We want to hear from you, because at the moment, Kamala is winning. Maybe this will be the one. Mike will talk to you tomorrow to see if you've got your money. 0207 862 2222. See you in a moment. We're going to take some more calls on the US election now. So Trump or Harris, we have Aisha in Edinburgh. Lots of calls from Edinburgh. Hi, Aisha.
Hi.
Go on, tell me which one to pick up, Kamala or Donald?
Donald.
Right, and why are you backing Donald Trump, Kamala? Sorry, Aisha. That would be a surprise if she'd called us. Go on.
Yeah, no, it's not like I'm backing him. I read his manifesto, and I also listen to his campaigns. I've been following him since he started campaigns, and I knew he's going to make a big difference because he said when he become a president, he's going to stop all the wars around the world. Yeah. So that is very good because
where would you start? Let me ask you about that, right? Because we haven't mentioned Ukraine yet, and he really doesn't want to be arming Ukraine because he thinks that just continues it. Will you be okay if he says to Russia and Ukraine, you've got to sit down together and agree something?
Yes, as long as he said he's going to stop the wars.
Stop the war. Yeah. Thanks, Aisha. Ken in Dorset, which way do you go?
I'm going for Harris.
Okay. Tell us why.
I'm going for Harris because I don't believe you can have a president of the United States, one of the biggest countries in the world, have a criminal running the country who is racialist and has an ego as big as Russia, his best mate. So I'm going for Kamala Harris because I have looked at her and I've read up about her, and she seems like she's a very straightforward woman who will do things for people, where I think Trump is the opposite.
Thank you, Ken. One more. Rory in Devon, hi.
Hello, hi.
All right, go on. Now, let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be Kamala in terms of our little vote here. But which way are you going, Rory?
I would definitely vote for Kamala.
Okay. I reckon when people ring, I can tell from their voice which way they're going to go.
Oh, stop.
No.
I reckon I can. I can just tell, Rory. I could tell you were going. Are you a young person?
Well, relatively young, but
early
my
50s.
my main concern is as a parent raising two kids, trying to teach them about the world and how it works, and I just think it's appalling. I mean, I know that in some ways Donald Trump financially he's got a really good background, and short term, there's things that he might do that would be beneficial, but long term, morally, his conduct. There was a while not so long ago when, he made fun of a disabled reporter, and I think that should have been the moment. That should have been the moment.
But there've been so many moments, haven't there? There's been the inject disinfectant to cure COVID, or hit the body with a massive ray of light. He said that as well. So, there's so many moments, but they haven't knocked him out because he obviously represents something that is very powerful in the USA. Thank you, Rory. Final count is 7 to Kamala Harris and 4 to Donald Trump. But there's no science here. We're just taking a little bit of a reading of your mood.